Good morning and thank you for joining us on today's live on ECWA TV Africa. Today we are back again and I have my sister Joyce, my beautiful sister,
Morning,
is with me this morning. You know, we've been doing this since morning.
Yes.
You know, and then how has it been?
It's been good. It's been okay.
Okay. That's a good one. Yeah, today's live is where we bring issues that affect humans, is of human interest, and then we discuss them we break them down to a soluble particles, you know, whether it's a professional angle to a layman. We make sure that at the end of it, whatever we're discussing, at least someone should be able to be informed and should be able to be educated. And I so much believe that today someone is going to be educated in this program, like always. And then for those that are in our community, we thank you for always sharing your views on the topics that we are discussing, and then communicating with us, knowing that you are out there and then you are enjoying the program. That keeps us going. So we thank you and we appreciate you. We hope that you keep on following us on our social media handle as we continue to contribute our own quota, you know, even from here. Thank you so much for joining us for today's show. Joyce, yesterday we were discussing the issue of jungle justice, and we feel like today we should continue and then we wrap it up, that particular topic today, jungle justice. Yesterday we talked about so many things. We laid a preamble, was jungle justice, how people see it, and then we were able to look at some few reasons why these things happen.
Yes.
And then we said today we're going to look at the statistics again and then see testimonies from lawyers, how they are saying what really is happening when it comes to that judicial aspect, you know, because they are the ones that are supposed to really handle that particular aspect. I have this to read before we start the conversation. In the absence of effective law and dedicated law, takes leave of common sense. Human animalistic tendency rears its ugly head and gives birth to jungle justice. There's a perfect summary.
It's a good read.
Yeah. Okay, today I want us to look at the statistics from across the globe. You know, what even people use when they lynch people. And then I have this with me, Director.
If control room can display the pictures, we'll be glad so that we and every other viewer can see what we're reading out. So you can start the read.
Yeah, the total number, you know, this one is the statistics of the jungle justice from 9 January 2020. We just want to look at the whole thing. And then we have March, we have 5, April we have 13, May we have 15, June 6, and July 12, August 3, September we have 7, then October 3, then November 9, December 1, then we have 13, January 2020. And then if you look at it, we look at the state with the highest number of jungle justice. We have Lagos, 10.
Delta 5, Benue State 5, Bayelsa 8, and FCT we have 5, and these are states with highest number of jungle justice cases. And I think we mentioned Lagos yesterday as being the highest. Then I gave instances of FCT too, where we have the cases in the market. You know, even though FCT is the federal capital of Nigeria, but we have instances of market and some not so urban settlements in the FCT. where all these things can happen. And it shows clearly that the number of jungle justice cases between January 2019, January 2020, and thank God you just read them out. You can see from January, to January 2020, and the highest being in May of 2019. From the graph, you can see May 2019 topping the chart as being the highest months with the case of jungle justice in Nigeria. Then on the map, you can see the affected states as being 25. The ones with a bit of the maroon colors are the ones affected. Then you can see the states are all out there. There is the FCT, there is Kogi, there is Oyo State, there is Osun State, there is Delta State, and so many other of the states. Then we have total number of people affected, which is 104. Then we have total number of people killed. That's in the case of the jungle justice, we have 73, and total number of people injured, that's 31. And the difference is here. We have 104 as affected, 73 as killed, 31 as injured. That means these 73, no help came to them when it happened, and at the end of the day, they lost their life. But the ones that were injured, at least that means help came, and they were able to be taken to the hospital where they, their life was saved.
Yeah. And you see this statistics, that's 2020. Even though yesterday you said something that yes, we don't hear more of it, but we are faced with some other security challenges that we feel maybe overtook this area of jungle justice. But we have to look at what is the real issue when it comes to the judiciary, because we feel yesterday, like we laid the preamble, the law have to be strengthened. Like this that we read, in the absence of effective law. The question is that, even though I know you are not a lawyer, but at least you are a journalist, you know what the Constitution say, you know what is enshrined there. Is our laws, should we say they are weak, they are ineffective for these things to be happening before us? Just
like I said yesterday, I don't think well, I can't just say yes or no if the law is effective or weak or whatsoever. But I believe there is law, there is rule of law, but it's just that the system is corrupt, just like I said. The system is corrupt. The people in power, the authorities, they are supposed to carry out the punishment, supposed to carry out these cases to the end. There is corruption in it, and like I mentioned yesterday, corruption doesn't necessarily have to do with money. It has to do with other aspects, other sector, be it education, where maybe you are giving, you are supposed to give out some supplies, educational supplies, but you don't do it, you are corrupt. Be it in the health sector, be it in all other sectors. And this is our judicial system we are talking about. It's like a powerhouse of a country, because that's where the rule of law is. That's where control should be. That's where protection of life and properties should be. But if it is weak, then we're headed to destruction. Then just like we mentioned yesterday, there are so many cases, as we've seen even on the graph, there are so many cases in Nigeria where the case of jungle justice is high, and there are some that are not even mentioned in the graph, but maybe 1-2 cases happen. Then we compare that of Ghana and Cameroon, because these are the countries that are topping the charts of jungle justice in Nigeria. And
Africa.
In Africa, and if we're talking judicial system of a country, I would like us to talk of other countries. But before then, I would like to read something by which is a research that was carried out by. I will skip the name. He is a criminologist. Okay, did I get that right? At the University of Ibadan, he found that factors like insecurity, understaffed, and ill-equipped police force are the drivers of jungle justice. And an overwhelmed police make neighborhoods seek the service of vigilante groups for local security. So if you underline insecurity, that's factors like insecurity, understaffed, and ill-equipped police force. These are some reasons, or these are some factors he gave as the drivers of jungle justice in Nigeria. If you look at the issue of insecurity, now we are faced with so many other ones, banditry, terrorism, like we are overwhelmed by them, you know. Then if you look at the issue of being understaffed, there's the police or the paramilitary, you know, being understaffed, not able to carry out, just like I mentioned yesterday, it's not like we have one police to one citizen in Nigeria. No, we have like one police to a community. Or one, do you understand? And they are mostly mostly understaffed. Then is it resources? They are talking about, sometimes you report a case at the police station and they tell you there's no fuel. You know, there's no fuel. They need to take the car to the scene, or you need to, you end up fueling the car. You end up giving them money for lunch. You end up spending a lot of money that at the end of the day you just feel, okay, let me just take this thing into my hands and deal with it accordingly. Then are you talking about the, okay, I've mentioned the ill-equipped police force, you know, they are not well equipped, there are no necessary, there are no immediate equipment that should be used, just like the cars, just like the, maybe even mobile phones, even the airtime to relate to, if you are reporting maybe a case in this community and something is happening, and maybe the case happened in the other community, they should be able to relate to that other police station in the other community to, you know, go and to respond and investigate. But we're left with nothing like that, and we people tend to take the system or the case into their hands and just punish the people right there promptly.
And like you said, some can just be because I normally hear people, common people say, even if you report the case, when are they going to come? You know, even if they will come, they will ask you for fueling, just like you mentioned.
And you might end up being the offender, you that is reporting the case.
Yes. So that fear, you know, and then people will just quickly do what they have to do and then just leave the scene. And then the issue of even if we report the case, maybe, just maybe, within few days, we'll now see the person, you know, out mingling with us. I want us to look at this, these statistics here that said the parameter, the alleged offenses, you know, look at the variables, look at the frequencies, and then the percentage. Yes, thank you so much. You know, you see the alleged offenses normally is armed robbery, stealing, rape, fighting, or murder, which they all have their own percentages there. We have armed robbery 18%, 18, stealing 34, which is 33%, rape 16, which is 16%, then you have fighting 12%, then 21%. Then you have the weapon used to inflict harm, you know, in that act. We have stone, cement block, which has 33%. We have sticks, with 21%, bare hands, 12%, cutlass 18%, iron rod 16%. Then the issue of a particular group of people who engage in mob violence, we are passerby, those that you cannot even trace. They are just passing. They will just engage and then leave the place. So at the end of it, you will say this thing happened in this particular community, but to trace who and who you can't find because just passerby. And then we have the bystanders, we have the area boys, we have the vigilante group. So you can see this percentage that is here. It's really quite alarming. And looking at what people use, like to inflict or carry the axe, you know, we have bricks, stone, cement, and then cutlass. Mostly, Director, if you have the pictures there, you can flash the pictures to see how, you know, people are being mobbed and then things that are being used. I didn't see them using tires.
That's necklace lacing,
yes,
where tires are placed. You know, tires filled with petrol is placed on your neck with your arms deep into it, and fire is set on the tire and it burns. That's one of the picture on the screen. Then we have some with the stones, just like you mentioned, stones, cement, and sticks, where these things are used, you know, to crush or to harm a person. I would like us to go back to that same material that was placed first, that was placed second on the screen. If we can have that control room, thank you very much. I would like us to take particular group of people who engage in mob violence. You see passerbys as 12%, bystanders. That's just people that are just standing around. 45. Then we have area boys. If you remember yesterday, we mentioned area boys, you know, who claim that this is their community and nobody should come and do any other nonsense. Yes, that's people that come out to do more. Then we have the vigilant groups. Yes, we have this. We've turned it to a local term in Nigeria which we call vigilante. Yes, groups. They also carry out these acts, you know, because there's some amount of power that is given to them, and they feel okay, they can, you know, take justice into their hands, and before you know, they do the same thing. There are factors that motivate people to take part in instant justice. When friends take part, 30%. When I feel I should take part, 2%. Okay, we can come back now. You see, 30%, this is more of a motivation now. More like, okay, if I see my friend taking part, do you understand? And it's just like a motivation for me to also take part. I am gingered, I am in the same angry zone, or in the same angry whatever feeling. I am with the person and you take part. Then the passerby is just passing by. You don't even know what is really happening. You just heard. Maybe you heard ole, 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 or you heard that's thief, thief. And before you know, you're looking for a stick, you're looking for a stone to harm somebody. And it might just be a random person passing. You know, that's what we've been talking about, safety wherever you find yourself. And you might not know what will happen at that time. You know, then we have the bystanders. Just by standing, you heard that, okay, this is this, or you are seeing it, that this happens. Before you know, you are already into the act too, trying to get stones, trying to get whatsoever to harm people or to harm someone that you feel is doing something wrong. And there's a case that happened in 2015, yes, where a child of 7 was necklaced. You know, that was in Lagos. He tried to steal Gary, you know. He tried to steal Gary, that's cassava flour, from a trader. And before you know, people came out, put tire on his neck, and they set him ablaze. So children are not even exempted from this jungle justice. It's a thing that it has eaten deep already. And just like we said, maybe because there are other insecurity problems, that's why it's overshadowing this. But this topic is a good topic to be looked into, even if it has reduced or media is not, you know, shining light in it, but at least it's good to talk so that we would know that, okay, people should have morals, people should have the conscience that, yes, you should not take justice into your hands, even though, yes, people give reasons, you know, just like the other research that I read, where he talked about insecurity, understaffed and ill-equipped police force, where you just feel, okay, you should just take matters into your hands and just do everything accordingly, promptly, and at the end of the day you'll be satisfied that, okay, you didn't even go through all these processes, and at the end of the day the person is not a free man on the street anymore, but you are fulfilled that, yes, justice has been served. Yes.
Yeah, you see, a viewer out there, the reason why we we are going through this particular topic is to let the people, know that some of these things, yes, it happened out there. Some communities can just feel this is okay, this is the only way that we can protect our own community. Once someone is here and then he did something that is not according to what we set as a standard of that particular community, anything can just go, and then nobody says anything, and it just go like that, not minding whether you are doing the right thing or you are doing the wrong thing. So we are trying to make people understand that jungle justice is not allowed. Whatever offense someone may have committed, the right channel should be followed. The security agencies are there, the police are there. I think they are the first, to call, and then from there they will pick it up. We know that so many lives have been saved, by that, simply because yesterday we mentioned some. They are just being accused, not really that they wrongly accused, not really that they have partaken in that particular thing that they are being accused of. And before we continue, we will take a short break. When we return, we will look at some certain things that you should know that have to do with jungle justice. Thank you for staying with us. This is ACWA TV Africa, and the show is still Today's Life, and I still have my beautiful sister, my colleague here with me. We are discussing jungle justice on the set today, and then we looked at some percentages of how people take laws into their hands, the global, and then we narrow it down to Nigeria. And then we promise you that when we come back, we will look at some certain area. This is what I want us to look at in the case of rape. This is what they do to rapists in different countries around the world. Joyce, it will interest you that in India, life imprisonment to death sentence. That's in India when it comes to rape. And then France, we have 15 to life, like 15 years to life imprisonment, like life, yes. You're gone. And then Saudi Arabia, we have beheading within days. We have North Korea, death by firing squad. Then we have Afghanistan, shot in the head or hanged to death. Egypt, death by hanging. USA, imprisonment for life.
What about Nigeria?
Nigeria's federal law provides between 14 years and life imprisonment as punishment.
Okay, we actually chose the case of rape. There are other cases, though. There is armed robbery, there is witchcraft, there is so many of the cases that we chose rape so that we can compare to that of other countries. And Nigeria. And we've seen from that, okay, these are their rules in other countries like India, was the other country? Saudi Arabia,
China, South Korea, Afghanistan.
Yes.
Egypt and USA.
And maybe we skipped Denmark, but most people, or is always been asked that, or said that Denmark has the best criminal justice system in the world. It's effective when they give a rule. It's effective. It follows through. And Denmark's highest score was 0.94 for absence of corruption. That means, imagine 0.94 absence of corruption. That is remarkable, and which means that its government officials in the police or military, judicial branch and legislative branch work for the benefit of the public and do not use their positions and authority for private gain. This is what we've been talking about, like the effectiveness of the rule of law in Nigeria, where we mentioned corruption, where corruption has eaten deep into the system, that the rules that are being given, which is mostly for Nigeria, 14 life imprisonment, is not really effective. Sometimes you even say it's for the masses, for the poor masses. You know, so many people commit this crime, but you don't get to hear it. People commit rape. It's not just the poor that commits the crime of rape. It's not just the poor, you know, that commit so many of these ills. But at the end of the day, nothing is being done, or it's just the poor that you get to hear that, okay, this is sentenced, or it's the poor that the jungle justice, you know, would be targeted at. Yes, especially when it's done in a public or it's done in a place where 2 or 3 people are gathered, and before you know, there's no motivation. Just like we said, there are sometimes that passerbys or friends can just attack or start this thing. And is of interest that I would like to read is, in 2017 a new bill was put through to the Nigerian parliament to change the structure of the jungle justice, or the issue of the jungle justice. The Anti-Mob Lynching Act recently passed its second reading in the Senate. It now needs to clear a third reading before being signed off and passed into law. And at 2017, it was expected that it will happen in the new year, that's 2018. And now we're in 2021. Nothing is being said. I don't know if there's a developing story about it, but this is where it has been from. And Nigerians often resort to mob lynching as they view the police and judicial system as corrupt and inefficient, just like and that is why most of the people, or the parliament, came up with this bill, and it passed first and second reading. It's just the third that is we're waiting on, and 2017 will know that, okay, it will be curtailed. And what does the bill, you know, aim to achieve? The nature of the mob violence can make it difficult to charge offenders under the laws that cover more than assault. The bill seeks to change that. It defines lynching as 3 or more persons acting in concert for the purpose of depriving any person or of any person of his life without authority of law as a punishment for or to prevent the commission of some actual or supposed public offense. So this is what the bill wants to achieve. Alongside lynching, the bill covers mob action that results in severe bodily harm and righteous assembly causing destruction of property. A person found guilty of instigating any of these 3 criminal offenses will be punished by imprisonment for life or not less than 25 years. You see, in the other one, it was captured 14 years to life. But the bill, if the bill is to pass, it will be 25 years punishment, that's life imprisonment. Then the bill stipulates that a security officer who fails to make reasonable effort to prevent any attack or to apprehend a perpetrator will be punished by up to 5 years imprisonment or face a fine of up to 500,000 naira. Security officer who takes part in or conspires to an extrajudicial attack will be guilty of a capital offense. Those who have failed at preventing will be subject to dismissal and 50 years imprisonment. I think this bill is so good and well defined that if it is put in place, so many things will be attacked. So many things will be right. It has to do with the people that are the perpetrators of the jungle justice. even the officers that stand there when things are happening and they don't really do anything, and even the officers that conspire with people to carry out that act.
Okay, we'll look at that more deeply later when we come back. Please, we just want to take a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay with us. 5 years now, or thereabout, since 2017.
Just like I said, I don't know if they said it, but this was suggested and it was passed. It passed the first reading and the second reading, and we're waiting for the third reading so that it will
know whether it will pass or it will be dropped down.
It will be signed off in 2018, you know, and that's after 2017. And like I mentioned what the bill will cover. That's the lynching. It will cover. It will have to deal
the people
with
involved
that carried out the
security personnel.
25 years. Then even the officers, you know, that stand by or they don't make effort to stop the lynching, they will be fined or they will be dealt with. Even the officers that there is fine or payment for it, or it can lead to dismissal, 15 years imprisonment. And like I said just before the break, this is a very good bill. This is a very good way of putting everything. It's well defined, and it covers all of this all of the segments or the aspects. Is either you are a perpetrator or you are an officer that refuses to carry his or her charge to protect life and property, or you're an officer that is conspiring with the mob, you know, to carry out that exercise. You know,
it will interest you to know, Joyce, that even some officers, you know, because they have been mentioned there, is the reason why they stand and watch is because, you know, the community overpowered them, or whoever, you know, that particular group that are carrying that overpowered them. Because I have witnessed certain experiences like that, which vain, and then the group will overpower them. That they either call for reinforcement, you know, to save the situation, or they will just pass or just stop and just watch whatever is happening.
That is wrong. If the system is not corrupt, how would a mob overpower you? First of all, if you are going into a scene that way, first of all, you call for backup. I don't know about Nigeria, but you call for backup. That means you need more officers to be brought to the scene so that they can help out with the whatsoever that is happening there. Then you make it an effort to control the crowd, you know. But because of how the system is corrupt and how we don't even have respect for the authority, we don't even have respect for the uniform, we try to see it like, okay, we even try to, before you know, the officer might be killed too in the process.
Yes.
Because we don't have respect for all that. But if there was respect and we know that, okay, there's no corruption, it's not so, the system is not so corrupt, you have respect for the person that is wearing the uniform, if not for the person, because maybe over familiarity, but for the uniform that is there and saying, okay, everybody should pause, you know, and backup is being called, and instead of, you know, coming in between investigation and what is happening there.
You know, you talked about the issue of respect to the uniform, that people doesn't even see. You see, everything concerning this, you know, is tilting down to, you know, not having a proper enforcement, you know, that will really cop this thing. And you find out that the issue of equipment, like you said, for prompt response is another factor that is affecting that. Some of them, you know, just have to stand and just watch, because even if you get there and then you find out that these people overpowered you even before you call, before they respond to you, and then mobilize more men, you know, people will start feeling like, okay, can I just lay my life and just die for nothing's sake, and after all nothing will happen, you know, no proper compensation. And then you will find out even the security agencies will just back out, and then they will be watching and then seeing whatever is happening, like they don't care. After all, it's not my brother or it's not my son or something. So you look at these factors that are affecting this, and I think it is high time for the government to really look into this. Thank God this issue of bill is coming, that it will really correct this thing, you know, putting people that are involved in their right place in the sense that, you know, if you are involved, there's a law that says this is what is going to happen to you. So that really, I believe it will help, because this issue of jungle justice is a serious issue, which by, you know, some media, not all, don't really take their time and then go deep in and then bring out, because it's just like the issue of rape that we just set an example with. You know, people don't relate such cases because they feel my child is involved, my sister is involved. Yes. I don't need to bring it up. When it comes to issue of mob, it narrows it down to the community. Okay, like everybody's child is there. So if you report, that means they will pick everybody from each home. So at the end of it, you'll find that everything will just die up there, and then nobody will report anything. I feel it is very important to start reporting such issues, because it will really help. We are looking at the angle of, what about the innocent?
Yes.
What about the innocent? You just find out, like the one you mentioned yesterday, the Port Harcourt, the 4
boys.
Yes. You know, later, and then they are telling you that they were wrongly accused. They are innocent. How do you think the parent would feel? Like, just like that, and then these pictures, the pictures that will remain in your mind till the day you stop breathing. True. You know, and then they will say, this is how your child, just like that, died. You know, promising children, students, you know. So I call on the government, it is and the people in every community. It is very important. It is something that we should report if we see anything going on like that, so that the relevant authority will step in and then they will investigate whatever is happening. We shouldn't take laws into our hands, because even the Constitution says taking laws into someone's hand is even a crime.
Yes, it's a criminal offense.
It's a criminal
offense. Before we wrap up, I would like to read some will I call them testimonies or remarks from some of the lawyers, just like we promised yesterday we will. There's a son that says, it is vote of no confidence in our criminal justice administration. For instance, and I quote, when people are arrested for crime and 3-4 months later, the police will tell you that they are still carrying out investigation, and people are seeing that this fellow actually committed this crime. Take the case of Evans, for instance. End of quote. And the case of Evans, just like we mentioned yesterday, is still awaiting trial. Then another barrister says, courts are becoming no more the last hope of common man. Rather, they are most likely being seen as such common man or victim of oppression as a place for the deceitful, the cunning, the oppressor, the rich, the powerful, among others, where they have their ways, and the victim, the oppressed, the less privileged have to continuously cry helplessly for help. And they say, quote, the National Judicial Council and the legislator have a lot of roles to play so as to redeem and regain people's trust back, just as the judiciary has greater roles to play. The executive must take up the welfare and security of its citizens as primary purposes, as envisaged by Section 14 to Section B of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended. This will make citizens to engage in hard work that gives no room for devilish manifestation. A lazy hand is a tool for the devil. End of quote. This is what he said. Then we have another, if you permit me, I would like to take this.
Yes,
says jungle justice has no place in our laws. However, in quote, the spate of jungle justice appears to gain widespread acceptance or practice, and this can be attributed to a number of reasons. Chief among them is lack of public confidence in the administration of justice, just like we mentioned, where the people lack confidence in the criminal justice process, where the people do not believe if a suspect is apprehended that justice will be met, where suspects are arrested by the people but freed by police, where lack of thorough investigation leads to miscarriage of justice, where protracted years of court case leads to nowhere, then the people are most likely going to seek alternative means of justice. This is coming from, the lawyers, and they have this to say. You should know that, just like we've been mentioning, the system is corrupt, filled up with, it's not general, but it's filled up, with corrupt person that if arrest is made, will the case pull through to the end that justice will be served? Okay, let's drift from jungle justice now to the case of the Boko Haram insurgency and all. Do you think if people now, citizens of Nigeria, will get their hands on maybe one of the repentant Boko Haram or do you know what they would do? They already have the anger in them. You understand? But already the police, or they even surrender to the authority first, and people don't get. I'm not encouraging, or I'm not saying that, okay, they should be released to the public and all, but I'm just saying, just think about it. We're talking jungle justice. If people would get there, they would take up the case by themselves and they will end it there. But so many times we've heard of, instead of justice to be served to a person, you are saying, okay, he's repentant now, there's nothing that can be done. He's pardoned and he's been placed back into the society. Placing a criminal into the society, what processes did he go through? The correctional facility were the citizens, informed about the processes, even his heart change, or the change of his attitude and character. How promising is that? Do you understand?
Yes.
I know I just digress to that, but it's important. It's important that we should not have a weak government. Justice shouldn't just be selective. It shouldn't be, okay, this is a higher crime than this, or these people are VIPs and these people are not, or this is a criminal and you are up to now you don't want to tag bandits and all these people as criminals or terrorists. You don't want to tag them. Then what are they really?
Well, it's quite pathetic, and we pray and always believe that we'll see something positive coming from our dear nation, and we're always praying for this country, for things to be done in the right way. I have this that I want you to know about jungle justice as we wrap up this show today. We have this. It can happen to anybody, even in daytime. So have that at the back of your mind. The reason why we are saying when you see things like this, you should report. You never can tell. You can just be passing by and then you said, let me just go and peep and see what is happening. And then before you know it, is either your brother or your sister or someone, or your neighbor or someone you know. So it can happen to anybody at any time. People take the laws into their hands because they do not trust the police to do their job properly. Yes, even though you don't trust the police to do their job properly, but at least as your own civil responsibility, you should do the needful. Report. If they don't do their own part, is left for them. You know, not reporting a jungle justice incident makes you an accomplice to murder. Call for help. That is, if you are there and then you see what is happening and you're just quiet. You know, jungle justice is a gross human right violation. You should know that. You should know that there's no justification to that. And then you should know that, you know, once you are involved in this, the scar never fade. The scar never fade.
True.
Yes, so we should have this at the back of our mind, and then we believe with our own little discussion, with our own little knowledge, we want to believe that you have learned something. Joyce, maybe.
Mine is a recommendation to the authority. I would like the authorities to take charge, you know, do away with corruption, even with people giving power to safeguard lives and property. Let's have that faith in our police, in our military. Let's have that faith that when things are being reported, there will be no someone seated at the high table or at the top to give instructions that, okay, this person should be released based on sentiment or whatsoever. We've seen or heard of cases like that. It's so wrong. If you can take up a crime, you should know that, okay, justice or your punishments will be served. You know the difference between right and wrong, and you are responsible enough, and you decided, okay, this is what you are about to do, and you are doing it at the end of the day. If we start having cases that are followed through and justice is being served, people will have faith in the police, people will have faith in the authority, and they will start reporting cases like that instead of going to the option of jungle justice. You know, it has to affect a lot of people, the innocent and even the people that are guilty of it. So please, let's take charge. Then for the people, before you even attempt to partake in jungle justice, ask yourself, who gave you the right to judge? Who gave you the right to kill or to harm another person? Yes, there is anger and all, but please, change can also start with you. Just do your own bidding. Report it as it should be accordingly. At least you know that your mind is cleared. At least you know your conscience is cleared. If at the end of the day is the authority or the police that decide, okay, they let it be, it's okay, but at least he did it. Don't forget that at the end of everything, God is the ultimate, and he will judge at the last day. Then for the people, you know, the people, you and I, be safe wherever you are. Do not go to places where you are not supposed to be. You can be at the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong time at the right place, wrong timing and all that. Be safe. There is so much anger in the country or in the world, so much anger because of insecurity. Is it food crisis, food insecurity? Is it kidnapping? So many things, even hike in prices. Somebody might leave his house with anger, with that anger, and you are passing by and someone is shouting only. Before you know, he will attack you thinking you are the one, and before you know, you'll be killed or injured. So be safe. There's, like I said, there's so much anger, and you know someone that is hungry is already angry, and he can put down the anger in you. So please, let's be safe wherever we are. If you don't have to be somewhere, do not. And especially this is a festive period, things will be happening. Is already written, not specifically for the festive. It's already written for the end time. These things will come more. And don't forget, the heart of man is desperately wicked.
Okay. Joyce, well spoken. Thank you. I really appreciate you doing this with me today. And I will just leave it where she stopped. I will say, for him that knows, for him that do not do what he knows is right, you know, already is a sin. So please, you know the right thing to do, so just go ahead, do the right thing. Be sensitive to your environment. From all of us here in ECWA TV Africa, we're saying thank you for staying with us.